There are a number of different settings that impact the way users log into Salesforce, and we're going to explore these throughout this video. Note that this video does make the assumption that you understand the basics of IP networks, including the difference between a public and private IP address and how IP addresses and IP ranges in general work. So there are several different ways that you can log into Salesforce. Most users will use a web browser, which may require computer activation, and many external applications reference Salesforce data using the API. This would include the data loader, which may require a security token. Login through the API can be performed without user interaction. For the purposes of this video, we're going to be focusing on these first two in detail. However, there are a few other methods that users can use to log in as well, such as single sign-on, which allows a user to log into their company's network and then have access to all of their other resources, such as Salesforce, without needing to log in again. There are a number of different ways that single sign-on can be implemented in Salesforce. OAuth allows external applications to ask the user for permission to access Salesforce data. This removes the need for a security token, but it does require user interaction. Chatter Desktop is an example of OAuth in action. Regardless of how you log into Salesforce, the login URL will determine which type of environment you're logging into. So if you're logging into a production environment, you need to use login.salesforce.com. If you're logging into a sandbox, you need to use test.salesforce.com. Login hours are used to prevent login except for specific periods of time. So login hours are configurable on an hourly basis, Monday through Sunday, on a user's profile. You could use them to prevent users from logging in while they aren't at work. I could configure login hours on the profile to only allow login Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Let's say that you have a nightly process that updates Salesforce with data from an external system. You may want to prevent users from logging in while that process runs from 3 a.m. to 4 a.m. Login IP ranges are used to prevent login except from one or more specific public IP addresses. Login IP ranges are configured on the profile. So why would you use them? Let's say that you want users logging to Salesforce only while they are physically at work. This would prevent them from viewing or downloading customer information while at home. To do this, I would add my company's public IP address ranges to the list of login IP ranges on the associated user profiles. With that same configuration, a company can enforce that users connect to the internal network through a VPN before connecting to Salesforce. Trusted IP ranges remove login restrictions for one or more public IP addresses. When logging in from a trusted IP range, users will not need to complete computer activation or append a security token to their password. Trusted IP ranges are configured org-wide. So let's talk about computer activation. It's required when Salesforce cannot confirm the identity of the login request. When this is the case, Salesforce will require activation. This is the process where Salesforce will send an email with a verification code that must be entered to log in. This security mechanism is designed to prevent unauthorized access. If somebody obtained my Salesforce username and password without my consent, they would also likely need access to my email in order to log in. Banks and other financial institutions have similar security measures as well. There are several ways that Salesforce can confirm the identity of the login request and thus bypass activation. Login from a trusted IP range is one. If you've logged in previously, each successful login will store a cookie on your web browser. So long as that cookie is present, you will not be prompted for computer activation when logging in through that browser. This explains why you can bring your laptop from the office to a coffee shop and log in without being prompted for activation. Each time a user successfully logs into Salesforce, the IP address that connection was established from is stored and associated to only that user. Whenever a login attempt is made, if the user is attempting to connect from an IP address that they have connected from previously, computer activation is bypassed. This explains why you would be able to log in from several different computers within the same building or the same company without having to configure trusted IP ranges or completing computer activation each time. Security token is a string that must be appended to the end of a password when logging in through the API, except if you are connecting from a trusted network. To retrieve the security token, the user must log into Salesforce via the website and navigate through Setup menu as shown. The user will get an email with the included token. When you log in through the API, simply append your security token to your password. Security tokens, it's also worth noting, are automatically reset whenever your password changes. So quick recap. Login hours and login IP ranges prevent login. Trusted IP ranges remove login restrictions. Login hours and login IP ranges will prevent login, regardless of method. You will never need to use a security token when logging in through the web. Similarly, if you log in through the API, you will never need to perform computer activation. Now, if you log in through the web outside of a trusted IP network, you may need to perform computer activation. Within a trusted network, you will not. If you log in through the API outside of a trusted network, you will need a security token. Within a trusted network, you will not.